If you hold XRP, we have some critical updates to talk about in this video. The House of Representatives is doing the unthinkable right now, and it is causing massive amounts of liquidity to flow into the market, with Ethereum up 30% the past 7 days, with talks about an Ethereum ETF coming, Solana up 24%, XRP still sitting at 53 cents, barely up 6.95%, Dogecoin's up 12%, Toncoin is down 8%, Cardano 14%, Avalanche up 29%. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what is taking place, why the sudden shift in viewpoint in the United States on crypto with the White House, a statement of administration policy, the truth about what's coming for XRP that most people don't see. We're getting into the Bitcoin price chart in comparison to the past for where we are right now and how much liquidity is about to flow into the market for the rest of this year. Some key things we're seeing within the RSI indicator, and then a few altcoin projects that are set up to make some massive moves over the next few months so you could be able to make the most amount of money possible. So if you guys are feeling bullish, comment 777. If you're feeling blessed, comment 777. If you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping that subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So let's dive right in and talk about what's taking place in the crypto market right now, because it is extremely bullish news. If we go on live.house.gov, this is a general debate that's taking place right now, with the committee of the whole proceeded with 1 hour of general debate. And what is this covering? Well, providing the consideration of the bill HR 4763 to provide for a system of regulation of digital assets by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and the Securities and Exchange Commission. So if you guys watched my video yesterday, it's basically turning over, control that the SEC has over, XRP and the rest of the, crypto industry, and for other purposes, providing for consideration of these bills to amend the Federal Reserve Act to prohibit the Federal Reserve banks from offering certain products or services directly to an individual, to prohibit the use of central bank digital currencies for monetary policy and for other purposes, and providing for consideration of the bill HR 192 to prohibit individuals who are not citizens of the United States from voting in elections in the District of Columbia. And so right here, the White House says it is eager to work with Congress to develop a balanced regulatory framework for Bitcoin and crypto. So this is designed to help reinforce United States leadership in the global financial system, because as you guys know, they've been behind the 8 ball for a long period of time in terms of blockchain tech, cryptocurrencies, letting countries like China, the Middle East, Dubai, other areas get further ahead. And here's a statement of administration policy that was issued today by the House, and the administration opposes passage HR 4763, which would affect the regulatory structure for digital assets in the United States. So the administration, eager to work with Congress to ensure a comprehensive and balanced regulatory framework for digital assets, building on existing authorities, which will promote the responsible development of digital assets and payment innovation and help reinforce United States leadership. So Adam Cochran on Twitter says, boom, this is all the proof you need that this isn't just a fluke. The White House bailed on the veto and issued a statement in which they call for productive framework to promote digital assets and payment innovation in America. So this isn't just about the ETF or one vote. This is an entire change in messaging and strategy. So this is a massive deal, guys. It's a big day for crypto. And while Elizabeth Warren might continue to fight, the White House has just given other Democrats a pass to now support crypto and blockchain innovation, and has backed off on blockchain, via authority. So right now the war isn't technically fully over, but like the Battle of Saratoga and the Revolutionary War, this signals the beginning of the end. So it's a major victory, a shifting of alliances and the enemies without support or a resupply. And after decades of indecision, confusion, and chilling effects, blockchain in America will finally be open for business. Now, the biggest reason why this is taking place right now is because of what I've said in previous videos. The election is coming up. And so politicians will do whatever they can to get as many votes as possible. So in order for the Democrats to keep Joe Biden in office, they have to make the economy seem good. And in order to make the economy good, what are a lot of investors piling into? They're piling into crypto. They're piling into the stock market. They need stocks. They need crypto to do well. So with the S&P 500 passing the all-time high, crypto is going to follow that. So if Bitcoin's doing well, if altcoin's doing well, if your portfolio is doing well going into election, well, they would have a higher likelihood of voting for Joe Biden. I don't know what you guys are doing. Let me know in the comments below who you're voting for. Personally, I believe that if you take things into your own account, you don't rely on Donald Trump or Joe Biden or whoever in office to make these policy changes for you, and you develop recession-proof skills, then you don't have to worry about politics as much. But politics does affect the markets because they want to pump the markets. Global liquidity is going to grow over the course of this year. And so going into election, it's just going to be a macro bullish year. Now, the debate that's happening now, right now on the House floor, this is explaining the importance of HR 4763, the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, highlighting what it means for the future of crypto and digital assets in the U.S. Listen to this.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of this rule and in support of the underlying pieces of legislation, beginning with HR 4763, the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, or FIT 21. Mr. Speaker, I'm very glad that the rule provides for consideration of this legislation. As a member of the Financial Services Committee, we've spent countless hours trying to develop a responsible regulatory structure for blockchain technology and digital assets. These conversations have become increasingly necessary as regulators like the Securities and Exchange Commission have failed. Instead of developing a targeted and purposeful framework that would promote innovation and protect consumers, they have led with regulation by enforcement action. This approach threatens the United States' leadership in the future of digital assets, a future that could better protect privacy, reduce business costs, and empower more Americans.
So as you guys know, there's two sectors of crypto. There's fundamental analysis and then there's technical analysis. So that's fundamental analysis, talking about bills, regulation, news happening, partnerships, ETFs, all that good stuff is fundamental. So when we look at the technical analysis on the chart, we need to compare to the past and see if we can spot any sort of confluence, anything on the indicators to give us an understanding of what could potentially happen next. So if we look back to what happened from July of 2020 until August of 2020, Bitcoin went from about $9,000 to $12,000, recovering out of COVID. And we saw this rally up to about $12,000 before a correction down. Now, on the left-hand side of the screen, we see some similarities here. And then we also look at the RSI. So let's go to July of 2020 when Bitcoin was at $9,000. And we see a higher high on the RSI. We also see a higher high on the price chart. Now, one thing we can spot here, and I'm going to talk about this, is a bearish divergence where we see a higher high in the upper left-hand side of the screen. You see a higher high in the price chart and a lower high on the indicator. So in this case, the indicator is the RSI, where right here on the 1st of August of 2020 to the 2nd of August of 2020, Bitcoin was upwards of $12,000. The indicator on the RSI was in overbought conditions. So we were at 84 on the daily chart. Then by August 17th, the middle of the month, Bitcoin was making a higher high, whereas the RSI was making a lower high. So this is a bearish divergence. Now, I'll explain what this means in a little bit, but I want to show some similarities here first. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see 28th of February of 2024, Bitcoin went from like $50,000 upwards of $63,000. And then by 12th of March, Bitcoin was upwards of, 73, nearly almost $74,000. So we were making a higher high on the price chart, whereas the RSI topped out at 85 on the 20th of February when Bitcoin was at 63K. And then when Bitcoin was forming the all-time high, the RSI was forming a lower high, similar to what happened by the 17th of August of 2020. So this was also a bearish divergence. Now, what is a bearish divergence? Well, a regular RSI divergence that's not hidden, because a hidden one is like you see a lower high on the price chart and a higher high on the RSI, and then that's bearish. Or you see a higher low on the price chart and a lower low on the indicator, and that's a bullish. And so we're not going to get too complicated here, but is when the price makes higher highs in an uptrend and the RSI indicator makes lower highs or the other direction. So the RSI divergence indicates that the current trend is losing strength. So if we are in a bullish trend and we see a bearish divergence where we see a higher high on the price chart and a lower high on the indicator, in case what happened right here from August 2nd of 2020 to August 17th, higher high on the price chart, lower high on the indicator, the bullish momentum is losing strength. And RSI divergence shows us that the current trend that's losing momentum, and the conditions are setting up for a trend reversal. So during an uptrend, we want to connect the highs and not the lows in order to detect a divergence. At the same time, we connect the highs and not the lows of the RSI indicator. So that's what we're doing right here. You can see Bitcoin at 12,000 right here, Bitcoin at 12,500 right here. We can see Bitcoin at 63,000 right here, Bitcoin at 74,000 right here. Higher high, lower high. Simple, right? So I want to explain this in detail so you guys can understand this for the future during the rest of this bull run, so you can understand by the time we get near the top, you line all of these things up, and then you line that up with what I talked about yesterday for confluence on the MACD, the stochastic RSI, the relative strength index, the global liquidity, the 4-year macro cycle, and you're just going to be a pro in these markets. And also, if you want to understand even more about trading, then get ready to plug into our crypto education platform on bullrunners.com. When that's launched, just make sure you're subscribed. Now, if we're in a downtrend, we just need to connect the lows, not the highs of the price trend, and the lows of the RSI, the indicator as well. But right now, we're flipping the downtrend. So what happened here? Well, we formed a high of 73, 74K, and then the RSI formed a lower high, and we just could never reclaim back above 70 after that. And we see this downtrend on the left-hand side of the screen for the RSI, and we formed a lower high right here by 8th of April. So eventually, when the trend shifts from bullish to bearish because bulls are losing steam, then we start to see the price action on the price chart line up with the indicator, where we see a lower high on the price chart and a lower high on the RSI, because we've officially flipped from a bullish uptrend to a bearish downtrend just during this corrective period. And so we went from 72K, we saw a sell-off all the way down to 55K. The RSI dropped all the way down to 31, near 30, so oversold conditions. Now, a key to understand in terms of a trend reversal, to understand how much lower we could go, is looking at this descending resistance on the RSI on the left-hand side of the screen. So by the 4th of May, when Bitcoin rallied back up from 56K upwards of 65K, we were forming a lower high on the price chart, but also we broke the descending resistance on the RSI. So this was a sign that we could have been reversing, but we need confirmation to form, a higher high from, the high of 8th of April, which is about $72,500 to really confirm that we're going to be passing the true all-time high. And so very similar to what happened back here on the 11th of October, even back to the 18th of September, we broke this descending resistance on the RSI. And so we flipped the low. We start this uptrend again, but we didn't pass the high of the 1st of September until all the way here in the 22nd of October. So in terms of what we're looking at right now, it's very similar from the 10th of October until the 21st of October, where it took about, from this breakout period, it took about 11 days before a massive move took place. So we're only like 2-3 days in. If we go 11 days out, it's not going to be exact. That would be 31st of May. Now, coincidentally enough, I think it's the Treasury is doing bond buybacks at the end of the month. So is that the catalyst that could push the crypto market and push Bitcoin up? I don't know, but we need to look at some key things here, because look at what happened on October of 2020. The RSI was now in an uptrend, and we broke out from the bearish low. We broke out from this descending resistance, just like what we're doing right now. So we need to hold the RSI-based moving average right here. And currently the RSI is at 60. So we're in the middle of the range. What I would expect to happen is something similar to what took place at the end of October, for us to just start marching up towards the towards summer, in June, towards 100K. That's what I would expect. I could be wrong here, right? There could be another shakeout event. We could experience some sort of fake out and some final liquidity flush right here to shake out the longs, and then start working our way out of here. Going into, June and July, we could see something like this happen, which would just liquidate a lot of leverage traders that are getting ready to long the market right now. But in my opinion, I think we'll just consolidate right here, push higher, break this descending resistance, hold it as support, and then march towards $100,000. That's what I think would happen. Again, not financial advice. Consult your financial advisor. These videos are purely for education, informational purposes only. And if I'm given some sort of prediction, I could be 100% wrong. So you should always do your own research, because crypto is very risky. You could lose a lot of money in these markets. And, just because I'm saying something doesn't mean it'll happen. In fact, I'm wrong a lot of the times, but I'm right on the macro a large chunk of the times. And that's why you guys are winning right now if you've been watching these videos since 2022. And so the macro is looking incredibly bullish for crypto. And so when we can spot these key divergences on the indicator and we can line it up with fundamental analysis, then that's going to give us the ability to position ourselves properly in these markets. Now, some breaking news taking place in the markets. The Donald Trump campaign is now accepting XRP alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Doge, and Shiba Inu. That should tell you something. So if he's bullish on XRP, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, what does that mean for these projects? Does that mean that they're going to receive massive momentum the rest of this year? I think you can connect the dots there. Now, here's some other breaking news. Coinbase to launch gold and oil futures. And so with precious metals like gold, like silver, commodities like oil, as investors dump money into them when the dollar is declining even more due to inflation and what the Federal Reserve is doing over the next few years, I would expect gold to pass an all-time high. Silver, just cracked like $30 recently. So in China and these other countries are like dumping and getting rid of US bonds, so the bad debt, which is forcing the Treasury to come in and do these buybacks. And so that further depreciates the dollar, that further, spikes inflation, and that further grows your bags if you've backed up the truck all the way to the bank. And just in, BlackRock files an update on their 19B4 form for its spot Ethereum ETF. So this is sealing the deal. They lost once when trying to get an ETF approved. The Ethereum spot ETF is coming. BlackRock has had like the majority. I don't know what the percentage is. You guys can correct me in the comments, but it's like over 90% of their applications for these types of things approved, whether it's instantly or eventually. This is eventually going to be approved. So what was happening with Ethereum is they wanted you to think that Ethereum was dead. Ethereum wasn't going to do anything. It's not going to get approved. So they can leverage trade the crap out of the thing. And that's why Ethereum is pumping 20%. So we posted this in the Telegram group. I said, watch Ethereum. Once liquidity starts to flow into Ethereum, we're going to see a lot of altcoins on the Ethereum blockchain starts to surge. Now, one altcoin I'm watching right now that we do hold a position in is called 3 Protocol. It's sitting at 20 cents right now. The market cap is a micro cap. It's at $17 million. But this project right here, guys, is on the Ethereum blockchain. It's listed on Uniswap, MEXC, and they're working on other exchanges right now. But this project is an ecosystem that decentralized marketplaces to promote, enable inclusivity in e-commerce and real-world asset transactions. It's built for the unbanked, debanked crypto spenders and those concerned about privacy issues. And the decentralized marketplaces that they're working on for their utility will facilitate seamless transactions without the oversight of CBDCs and legislation that infringes on human rights. And so this project is using advanced technology, including zero knowledge proof, pseudo anonymization, I think I butchered that name, but it's built on ZK Snark for on-chain decentralized identification, neural network AI for prompt-based efficient searching, and tri-sig DAO capabilities. Now, I know that's a lot to take in and understand, but this project just launched, and if we look at the chart right now, it's consolidating in a symmetrical triangle. So if we bring up the RSI, we're at 32 on the RSI. So what I'm watching right now is for this project to bottom out, either where we're at right now, potentially a little bit lower than 30 would be even better if we can dip down to like 25, 22, somewhere around there. There's no guarantee that we'll go that low, but we're right now at this ascending support right here. So if we see a bounce from this and we further coil up in the symmetrical triangle, when it makes a move, the next move is going to be massive. So what we're also looking for is we're looking on the MACD right here, and we're looking for a bullish cross below the 0 line. So if you guys watched my video yesterday, when we see bullish crosses or bearish crosses, for example, when we see a bearish cross, which is the MACD line in blue, crossing below the signal line in orange, that signals, it's a lagging indicator that signaled the momentum has shifted from bullish momentum to bearish momentum. So if we line it up with the price action, the RSI, look what happened right here from this rally. We posted this back at like 20 cents in the Telegram group for you guys that caught this, all the way, what was it? I think it was like a week or two ago. It was like 20 cents. It rallied all the way up here to about 30 cents. And simultaneously, the RSI rallied upwards of 78, so an overbought condition. So this is key to watch this stuff because we also saw a bearish divergence right here where you can see a higher high from the 17th of May to the same day just a few hours later, and then the RSI was making a lower high from about 79 to 73, and so this momentum was shifting. Now simultaneously, when we stacked this with the MACD, we saw the MACD all the way up here making a bearish cross below the signal line, well above the 0 line right here. And so we saw the momentum shift. We saw a sell-off take place coming all the way down to this ascending support, about 18 cents. It bounced off of it. Now, simultaneously enough, this is why we connect the dots here for you guys, because the RSI came all the way down to 22. This would be great. If you're watching these projects, watch these things together. So watch the supports, the ascending supports. If you're seeing some sort of like symmetrical triangle pattern forming, watch the RSI too to see when we're in oversold conditions on 30, near 30, or below 30, and also watch for bullish crosses on the MACD. So right here, you'll see a bullish cross. Now, a bearish cross is a lagging indicator for when the top end, and a bearish cross and then a bullish cross is a precursor indicator for the bottom coming soon. Because as you can see here, a bullish cross took place on like the 19th of May, and then the MACD struggled to stay above the signal line. So it wasn't really a confirmation until about down here on the 20th of May, once we saw the MACD line blue finally cross above the signal line, but well below the zero line. So sometimes these can be false signals, so you have to be careful here, because as you can see right here, it looked like it was trying to cross on the 19th of May when the price was at 23 cents, and then we had a little bit further to the downside to go. So that's why you want to line it up with support levels, both horizontal and ascending and descending. So the horizontal support that we were watching for right here, if this ascending support didn't hold, was all the way down to like 14 cents to 15 cents within the zone. And that would mean that the RSI might have been near like 15 to 20. And so because we were at 22 and we were holding this ascending support, that was a great sign that the bulls were stepping back in. Also, we saw a reversal on the RSI. We saw a bullish cross on the MACD. We came up, we formed a descending resistance on the MACD, so it's playing in line with the price chart. We can also see a descending resistance on the RSI right here. So let me explain this stuff on what I would expect to happen next. If we hold this ascending support and we bounce off of it right here, what I would expect to happen is there to be a potential bullish cross on the MACD, and for it to maybe fail, and for us to see further price action to the downside, some sort of liquidity sweep down here, and then for us to work our way on out of here going into summer with these Congress buybacks. If Bitcoin, guys, key thing here, if Bitcoin breaks out past all-time highs, these projects and these altcoins will start to break out with Bitcoin a lot sooner and start rallying upwards. And so what I would want to see is the RSI to bottom out somewhere around where it is right now. We're at 32. Hey, if we dip lower and we see a liquidity sweep down near 20, best entry point possible. Again, I'm not telling you to buy this project. I'm just telling you what to look for on the price chart, because we'd most likely see a reversal on the RSI to come up to this descending resistance right here. More than likely get rejected from it, see a corrective period, and then try and work our way through here to pass back above 70 again. And then we're going to be looking for where we're at on the price chart, upwards of where the resistance is at 30 cents, 37 cents, and then at the high of 46 cents, and then eventually making a new all-time high as Bitcoin is breaking upwards of like 80, 90, $100,000. That's what we're going to look for this project. But because, a project like 3 Protocol is only at $17 million, this project can move very, very fast. Remember, a 10x is only $170 million, and there's projects that have $1 billion, $2 billion, $3, $4, $5 billion in just the start of this bull run. Now, the reason why this project is looking to do massive things in terms of the partnerships on what they're doing numerous AMAs, they're doing numerous announcements for the partnerships with different companies in the blockchain space. And so they're expanding pretty rapidly. If you go to their Twitter, 3 Protocol, you can just scroll down. You can see all of the partnerships that they're doing. You guys could attend their AMAs. Their team is very, very smart. I've talked about this project in a previous video covering the tech. You can check it out on the channel. But another big reason is because it's Tectum's first incubated project. Now, another project I'm watching is Tectum. Now, Tectum did see a sell-off, from the high of like $42, along with the rest of the market, because Bitcoin was selling off. So like we talk about, altcoins follow Bitcoin, but it's sitting at $109 million market cap. It's on Ethereum as well too. And when we look at Tectum's chart, it's somewhat similar of a formation that happened to Avalanche in the early days. When Avalanche saw the launch back in September of 2020 right here and went from like 92 cents upwards of $7, we saw this cooling off period, this consolidation period, to come back down to $2, very similar to what we saw happen for Tectum. It launched, went from $4 to $17, saw this sell-off period come down near $3.60, some type of like falling wedge right here. The RSI was all the way down here at 20 something, like 26. And so same thing for, Avalanche. Avalanche's RSI was like at 29, then started working its way out of here for the next leg up, rallied upwards of $14, consolidated and cooled off for a bit before the final leg up to $60. Same thing for Tectum, rallied on out of here, consolidated between $13 and $9. Then the final leg up, not the final one, but the real leg up, for wave 5 for that Elliott impulse wave was $46. And if we circle some key things here that we see on the indicator, we'll look at the RSI. The RSI was upwards of 81 right here when Tectum was at $27. Then once it went upwards of $46, the RSI was forming a lower high, another bearish divergence. So these bearish divergences pop up on multiple price charts. And you can also see On Avalanche's price chart, we can see a bearish cross on the MACD. On Tectum's price chart, we can see a bearish cross on the MACD at the high. And so this was signaling that the bullish momentum was over and the bears were stepping in. And the complacency stage bounce right here from 24th of January 2024 until 19th of March, it tried to recover and it tried to continue. But looking at the indicator, we saw that the RSI was in a downtrend. Same thing for Avalanche. We saw that it tried to recover right here and it tried to go higher, but the RSI was in a downtrend. We already went from 92. The chance of passing 92 again on the RSI after seeing a massive price rally from $3 upwards of $55, we don't go up forever. And so the price chart, similar price action, we see this somewhat of a falling wedge form on Avalanche's price chart, and then we form a low in a double bottom trend reversal. Double bottom, 24th of June 2021, the resistance right here at $14. Bottom number 2 was at $9, and then we work our way out of here. Simultaneously, look at the RSI. RSI in a downtrend. We bottom out at 30. We try and retest the descending resistance on the RSI at 48. We get rejected from it as well too, and then we break it. Once we broke the descending resistance on the RSI, it was game on for the bulls, and then Avalanche went from $9 upwards of $142. We saw a trend reversal. What do we look for on the MACD too? We look for a bullish cross. So I'm giving you guys the game here, okay? This is the game, right? You look for the bullish cross, best entry points possible come shortly on or after a bullish cross right here. So a bullish cross is a leading indicator to show you when a potential bottom is coming after that. A bearish cross is a lagging indicator that comes usually after the top is in, okay? So when you see a bullish cross happen where the MACD line in blue crosses above the signal line, the bottom usually comes shortly after that. As we can see, bullish cross took place 3rd of June 2021. The bottom came in by the 23rd of June 2021. So it doesn't happen like an hour later. It might happen a month later. It takes some time. So right now, what did we just see on Tectum's price chart? Well, we see a potential bullish cross. I mean, if I were to zoom into this right here, yes, we did see a bullish cross on the 21st of April, 2024, but the MACD line is struggling to stay above the signal line right now. Similar to what happened at Avalanche back in the beginning of June. When the bullish cross took place on the 3rd of June, the MACD line did stay above the signal line, and it looked like it tried to dip below it a couple times right here. Whereas on Tectum's chart, it did dip below it barely, but it's a very similar formation where the bullish cross took place 21st of April. Tectum was at like $19, and then we're seeing further dipping to the downside. So what I would expect to take place is I would expect once the bottom to come in around here, maybe we see a double bottom trend reversal. I don't know exactly what would happen. Maybe we see one final shakeout event, an attempt to recover, another bottom right here. Then we start working our way on out of here with Bitcoin as Bitcoin's rallying up. You guys want to watch also the descending resistance on the RSI. We're coming back up to retest it. We're at 44 right now. So if we get rejected from this descending resistance and we come all the way back down to 28 or 30 on the RSI and we stay down here, it would be very similar to what happened on the 4th of June after the cross took place. We got rejected on Avalanche's chart. We came back down one more time to 30, and then we broke the RSI. So I would expect maybe something like that to happen. We come up here 48, we get rejected, bottom out one more time, then we break the RSI, and we start working our way on out of here to come back upwards of 70. So that's the key. If you guys get value out of stuff like this, let me know. Like this video, because the next move for Tectum, is really to retest the all-time high of $46 and then go beyond there. And so if we go to Avalanche's chart, and let me just erase my chicken scratch right here on both of these charts so you can see what I'm looking at here. And we draw the Fibonacci retracement tool from the high of February down to the corrective low of the 18th of July of 2021. It looks like Avalanche did a 2.618 extension to $144. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, there's no guarantees. Again, for example purposes only. But let's say the bottom comes in at like $9 for Tectum, and we go from $15 to $9. Okay, that's definitely possible. To do a 2.618 extension is $106 for Tectum. So if we go down to, let's say $9, like $8, $9.30, to do that, that's over 1,000% for this project. So I don't see why that's not possible, especially during the euphoria stage of this bull run, global liquidity rising. So you want to keep your eyes on Tectum. You also want to keep your eyes on 3 Protocol, as these projects are working closely together. Now, one of the biggest projects in the space that is the sleeping giant right now, that is a large cap, $30 billion market cap. A lot of people wonder how much further could XRP move. While attention's on Bitcoin right now, I've talked about this in so many videos about how we need to see Bitcoin breaking an all-time high. And we need to see then Bitcoin's dominance roll around to see the true alt season. So what you guys are seeing in altcoins right now is really a bleed out effect. Like, sure, some of these altcoins are doing well. They're up 20%, you know, and if we go back to coinmarketcap.com and we just look at this, like Bitcoin's up 13%, whereas Ethereum's up 30%. Solana's up 24%. So during the bull run, altcoins will do well relative to Bitcoin just because it takes more money to move Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's dominance is still above 53%. To really see altcoins soar, Bitcoin's dominance needs to be around like 30 to 40%. So Bitcoin's going to continue, while Bitcoin continues to do well, altcoins are going to do something. Like XRP hasn't done nothing. I mean, it's gone from 28 cents to upwards of like 50 plus cents. So it's 2x. It's just underperforming compared to the rest of the market. So for XRP to overperform Bitcoin, we need Bitcoin's dominance to roll around. Now, here's one thing that's interesting that not a lot of people are talking about, but we're revealing on this channel to help you guys understand what's coming next. David Schwartz talked about his patent from 1991, seeing the concept from his patent reemerge nearly 20 years later with the Bitcoin white paper. He was excited to see that now was finally the right time for this idea to succeed. Interestingly enough, if you remember, they knew how the technology for blockchain digital currencies would work since the 1980s. When someone from the 90s says the technology already exists, this is what they mean. Not that it was publicly functional, but this was all part of the plan anyways. And I'm going to share a video that talks about why they do this and what their plan is. But I want you to listen to this because a lot of people are concerned that XRP has a private ledger where the price is completely different than the public ledger.
The question is, will the value of XRP be the same in the private ledgers as it is on the public?
Yes. The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools. If it doesn't make sense to isolate something, like there's no place where gold is worth twice as much as it is now, because if there was, people would just bring gold there and they would they would buy gold somewhere else and they would sell it there. Unless the only way that you can have the value be very different in two places is if there's a lot of friction. And if there's friction, someone will make a business of removing that friction. So I don't see any realistic scenario where XRP has significantly different value unless something's wrong. So like a good example of a case, there was a time where the value of XRP, they called it the kimchi premium, right? Where the value of XRP in some Asian countries was very high, but that was because there were capital controls, right? That was because things were bad. I think that's a sign that something is not going well. The value proposition of XRP is that you can take it to all of the places, right? If I sell you some gold and you say, hey, this gold can only be used in jewelry, you're like, well, that kind of sucks. I don't want that gold, right? The value proposition of gold is that you have access to the entire value proposition of gold. And so I don't see any scenario in which where it makes sense to snip pieces off, again, unless something is wrong.
Now, at the end of that, he says the only reason why it wouldn't mirror that is if there's a problem. So I don't know what the problem could be, but if it's going to be like gold, it's called spot price, right? So XRP's quote unquote spot price, obviously that's not the technical term, but the spot price would mirror the same price everywhere, and all the exchanges would eventually reflect the real value of XRP. Now, when we look here, Ripple partners, the amount of Ripple partners on the SWIFT integration list, Bank of America, Ripple partner with Bank of America to leverage its technology for faster cross-border payments. Santander uses Ripple's technology for its OnePay FX app, enabling real-time international payments. Standard Chartered collaborates with Ripple to explore blockchain applications in trade finance and payments. Barclays is a Ripple partner leveraging blockchain innovation payment solutions. Citibank is a part of Ripple's network utilizing the blockchain tech for cross-border payments. BNB, HSBC, MUFG, Unicredit. This is just a very, very small list on top of the 1,700 plus NDAs that they had to sign for, their OTC deals and that type of stuff. If Ripple was so bad, why would they be allowed to sponsor an organization where the chief executive officer played previous roles at the Department of Justice in the Financial Crimes and Enforcement Network? Listen to this.
Ripple XRP holders finding little gems like this make it so much easier to understand that this whole entire Ripple versus SEC case was a distraction to shake people out because they know the transformative potential of these new technological innovations. Okay, check this out. The association's founder of Women in Crypto, Chief Executive Officer Amanda Wick, let's look at her previous roles. It says, during a distinguished career that includes roles as the Chief of Legal Affairs at Chain Analysis, and as a federal prosecutor for the U.S. Department of Justice, and as a senior policy advisor at the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, she has learned firsthand that the playing field is not level. Come on now. All right, now let's go over to the sponsors right here. Okay, let's look at what it says. The Association for Women in Cryptocurrency could not operate without the financial support of the generous sponsors listed below. These companies and firms do not just talk the talk when it comes to supporting inclusion. They put their financial support behind it. If you do not know who they are, please take a moment to get to know them, as they are the change makers, the pillars, the supporters, and the allies that are working diligently with us to make the future of the digital finance industry more inclusive. And I just showed you all who the CEO used to be and her background, right? FinCEN, Department of Justice, okay? Look at the sponsors, people, please. You see anybody else? Nope, just Ripple, right? Just Ripple. I find it absolutely hilarious when you come across little tiny gems like this that just solidify that it's all a smokescreen. It's all a smokescreen.
So guys, when push comes to shove, I understand the frustration about the price action, but they are purposefully suppressing the price. In my opinion, again, not confirmed, but we can just see it on the price chart. In my opinion, they might be purposely suppressing the price chart so banks, financial institutions, payment providers, hedge funds, and massive whales can load up at the best possible deal before they quote unquote flip the switch. And they're just slowly indoctrinating everybody into the new financial system one step at a time. Because if they just go from old school fiat banking system and they just shut off all the banks right at one moment and just right away switch over to the new financial system and, you know, cross-border liquidity being bridged with the XRP ledger, XRP, the ISO projects, then everyone would freak out. They wouldn't know what to do. Their retirements would be gone and just the world would go into chaos and panic. So with the elites planning this, they're doing it right in front of our eyes. Everything's connected and we're just showing you, we're dripping these videos to you every single day, all by design. So this has been happening for centuries. It's been happening for decades. They show you this, they drip it to you. So by the time the event actually takes place and they're able to watch everything that they do, track all of your transactions, and be able to monitor your income on what you can and what you can't spend your money on, it's up to you to be able to secure your financial future by accumulating as much money as you possibly can so you can buy your freedom. Because as a human being, you're the only species, we're the only species that has to pay money to live on this planet. So if you're ready to become the first millionaire in your family tree with crypto and you want to get early access to our underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire when it's released, then all you need to do right now is go to bullrunners.com and you're going to get exclusive early access to alerts on explosive altcoins with timely notifications about high potential projects before they hit the mainstream market. You're also going to get access to daily market analysis videos where you can watch daily videos like this to stay up to date on the latest trends and updates in the cryptocurrency market. And you're also going to receive pro trading strategies and tools for you to access proven trading tips and institutional grade indicators to refine your trading strategy. So don't miss out on the launch of our new underground guidebook called Altcoin Secrets that's going to help you discover the next 100x altcoin. All you need to do to get early access is go to bullrunners.com, click the button on the page, put in your best email address, and you'll be instantly subscribed for the early bird list when it's released. We know you're going to love it.